Welcome back to another video. I know it's been a minute since I've posted anything reliably. I definitely apologize for it. As you can tell by my last post, I've had a lot of stuff going on in my life and it's been kind of chaotic. However, thanks to a friend of mine, we're going to try a new series. They brought it to me and I want to see what you guys think of it. Let us know in the comments if you like it, if you don't. What it's going to be is it's going to kind of be like a guess who. So the way it's going to work is you're not going to see their face at all until the very end. So in your head, start thinking about what you think they look like, how you perceive them. What do you paint in your head as your mental image, as your mental portrait, as if you're just talking to someone over the phone? What do you think that their age is? What do you think their race is? I have this whole list of stuff of like things to be thinking about. So the age, the race, the gender, sexual orientation, their relationship status. Do you think they have any kids? What do you think their religion is? Their political affiliation, any educational background, their current employment, if they're a homeowner, and if they have any body modifications, as in any sort of tattoos, any sort of piercings, or plastic surgery. So without further ado, we'll figure out who our guest is at the end, so be thinking of those things, and I will unmute them now. You will not see their picture, and then as we go through it, you'll learn a little bit about them. Keep thinking as you think it through in your mind, and then at the end, we'll have a big reveal. So I'm gonna go ahead and unmute, and you are good to talk whenever. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Thanks so much for having me on, Zach.
Absolutely. I definitely appreciate it, and I'm excited to have everyone get to know you a bit. So essentially, we're going to go over three main things that this individual chose that they wanted to talk about that we thought would be interesting for you guys, that I know they've done some work in and they have some background in. So definitely listen to them. They're a really bright individual, and I think you guys will get a lot out of it. The first thing we'll talk about is DoorDash. So obviously, you've been DoorDashing for a while. What brought you to DoorDash? What are your thoughts on DoorDash, and what do you like about DoorDash?
I started DoorDashing when I was in college. I really didn't know much about it at the time. I just knew it was like a third-party type of delivery service thing, and it was up and coming. I mean, like, as a college student at the time, everyone was ordering food and never walking to go get it.
Right, right.
So, I'm over here thinking like, well, I need money.
Yeah.
And I'm a busy college student at the time. I was like, no, I can use this as a way of like, a little stream of income. So I started it that summer, the summer before my senior year of college. And I honestly never looked back. It's been a great platform. I mean, for me, when it comes to like gig economy jobs, some people choose to do Uber, some people do Lyft. Since starting DoorDash, a lot of people are like, no, have you looked into Uber or Lyft? I'm like, no, I'd rather drive food around because food doesn't yell at me.
That is true. It doesn't puke on you. You got all kinds of.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't scream at me when my driving might be a little bit out there sometimes. But.
With DoorDash, I know that you have other things that you do as well. Has it become like a mainstay in your life? And if so, why?
Definitely, in a way, it has become like a mainstay in my life because I look at DoorDash as my second stream of income. My first stream of income, I have another job. But the way I look at DoorDash is that I use it to fuel my investment opportunities. I look towards different avenues to invest my money, to make my money work for me. I love the idea of passive income. So
me too.
I found DoorDash. I did have, another job at the time. Job number one is, going towards, paying bills, the ABCs of life, when it comes to paying things. And I looked at DoorDash and I was like, this, I can do this part-time. It's very flexible. I do it on my time, my hours, whenever I want to do it. I looked at all the earnings from that as, okay, let me do something different than just putting this into a bank account. Let me turn it to working for me as like, passive income.
That parlays pretty good into our second thing. You try to expand your horizons a lot. I've known you for a bit. That's something you're big on. And also, especially, you like to try new things. Do you think that DoorDash has kind of been something that's opened more doors for you, that has helped you enhance yourself as a person, has helped better yourself and just try new things and kind of get yourself out there?
So personally, yes, I would say that DoorDash has done all those things, especially for me, giving me the opportunity to kind of like, step out of my comfort zone and try something different. For a good amount of people, we're so used to mainstream when it comes to work and income. A lot of people are used to, that 9 to 5, and, for us, it's like we are in a different era of opportunities. DoorDash is in all these gig economy type jobs didn't really exist maybe not even 20 years ago, maybe not even 15 years ago. Like it's very much new and lively. It's all because, of the expansion of the internet. You can say in a way, the leap of faith that I took with DoorDash kind of prompted me to, hey, let's see what other things I can do. I have an LLC. I started a clothing brand with a very close friend of mine. Lots of people have regrets about doing things, either starting a business, starting a restaurant, and I didn't want to live my life like that. It's like the building blocks, that laid the foundation in DoorDash is like, hey, you are used to working a 9 to 5. Now try something different. You are now going to be working on your time when you want. And the thing is, I get paid based on how much I want to work, which is something completely different. Because you think about traditional work, you clock in from 9 to 5. Okay, you might give 100% that day, you might give 50% that day, you might give 110% that day. But no matter what, your pay will stay consistent. Those 9 to 5, they're not based on performance. I mean, if you're a salesman, a saleswoman, a salesperson, then in that case, like based on how well you're performing, commissions and so on and so on. But the typical American, it's 9 to 5, and however much energy you put into it, you're still going to get paid regardless. Diving deep into something like DoorDash, it really just laid that kind of like foundation for entrepreneurship in a way, as to don't be afraid to see what else is out there. It's okay to be comfortable, but for me personally, I strive for, let's see what this can grow into. Opportunities and possibilities are all around me. Everyone's dealt a different hand in life, but you can seek opportunities. At this point in time, it is the year 2020. We have an abundance of information at the tip of our fingertips. Our cell phones that, we get on, we can search anything. I mean, your YouTube channel, I say this all the time to my friends, it's YouTube University. If you don't know how to do something and you're curious about, let's say you're great at photography, you don't know where to go with it. You're great at painting, you don't know where to go with it. You're great at cosmetology, nails, all that stuff, makeup, you don't know where to go with it. Get online, do some research, look at some YouTube videos, because there are a whole multitude of creators, including yourself out there, that are sharing tips and skills with the whole world. So for me, it's like, at this day and age, you have no excuse not to better yourself if you want to.
Most people in America have access to the internet. Most people in America have access to YouTube, have access to Google. And it's learning how to use that as best you can to your advantage, which is something I've seen you do really, really well. Which brings me to our third point, the importance of investing to you. I know that you're looking at doing some different stuff through investments. I know that you are doing some different stuff through investments. Talk us through how you got there, what you invest in, why you invest, and how you learn to do it.
I think for me, now when I speak of investing, there's a whole multitude of different types of investing. People can invest into themselves financially. I do more onto the financial route, which in return I am investing in myself. It's interesting because my parents never really sat me down and said, hey, you need to invest. It was more of an initiative on my part that was, hey, I see all these successful people in my life. I'm curious as to how did they get where they are, what steps they take. In my life, I'm always looking to the people that are ahead of me. This person is doing something, I like it, and I want to be doing that same thing one day. So how can I get to that? And then also talking to a wide range of people, like the common thread and mindset that I was getting from these people is that you need to invest. Being financially set in the future leads to so much more happiness. You will never hear me say money equals happiness. I don't believe money equals happiness. I feel like money can provide you comfort and stability. And that is what I strive for myself. I strive for my family. And I think it was just the building blocks of seeing how hard my parents worked in their life. For me, I am the fruit of their labor. I have so high expectations for what I want to do, what I want to do for them. And, honestly, I want them to be able to comfortably retire. At a young age, I started reading some books. These were all provided to me by my mentors in my life. The very first book I read for my own personal enjoyment. It's funny, when you're in school, all these teachers read these books, and you're like,
you get so sick of it so quick.
Yeah, it's like, no. But when I started reading about investing and learning the power of compound interest, I was like, hold on, you telling me I could set this aside and put it into this mechanism, and you telling me time becomes my friend because in 5 to 10 years, X amount of dollars turns into X plus some more. I'm like, okay, this is really, really interesting. The first book I read was Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. The book changed my life. It brought it to a different perspective of what the future could be, possibilities, and for me, it said there's no limit when it comes to generating wealth and comfort and just stability. It got the gears in my head turning. I was like, no, okay, how can I grow with this? And I did a lot of YouTube search. Like I said, going back to YouTube University, from a very young age, I was always trying to read books, Google, okay, how do I invest? What can I invest in? And, that led me into the stock market. When I found curiosity in the stock market, I was talking to my mentors, people in my life about, what do you think about it? And I had a lot of, don't do that. that, you'll lose all your money and
Right.
the stock market's wicked. And in life, it's good to be open to advice. Lots of different people will tell you lots of different things. At the time, I'm a young kid. I'm like, you know what? I've listened to both sides, good and bad. And I'm like, okay, well, I have this money, and there's really not much that I can do with it that
Right.
is benefiting me. I mean, besides buying clothes, buying
Right.
food, going to movies with my friends. I'm like, once I get the money, it's kind of gone, and I don't see anything beneficial about it. So I was like, okay, I'm going to take a risk. I'm going to take a chance with this whole investing in stock market. I got onto the platform Robinhood. I think I started off with like $100. And I was like, okay, let's see what this $100
What did you invest in? What do you remember? What your first buy was?
I bought shares of Nintendo. So I personally invest in companies. Either I utilize their product, I believe in, because why would you throw money towards a company that you don't believe in and you don't utilize the product? I put money, I think about like one share of Nintendo, and at the time I believe it was like $40-something. I was big into just buying like tech. I was starting off with a small amount, so I wasn't buying like Google or Amazon or anything like that. I bought tech companies that maybe are worth like $5 a share, $2, $1 a share. Over time, I noticed like, wow, okay, I bought this one company. At the time I bought it, it was like $1.50. Let's say I bought 10 shares. Now one share is like $5. Again, like I jumped into this out of full curiosity and me saying I'm not afraid to lose $100. The biggest thing I would recommend anyone that is listening to this, that is curious about stock market investing, invest money that you are not afraid to lose.
Yes. Yes.
At the end of the day, you have to realize that yes, you can earn a lot on that money, and you can also lose a lot on that money. The current situation of global events, it is August of 2020. We know what's going on in the world. All those events, honestly has helped me as an investor in the stock market. When everything started, stocks were falling down, and it's like fearful investors sell. They're like, oh,
panic selling.
Yeah, they panic selling. Exactly. I was like, no, let me not panic sell. Warren Buffett's famous quote. I'm gonna kind of simplify a little bit, but it's like buy when others are fearful and when others are hold. It's something in that sense. Everyone's scared right now. Let me buy more stocks. These companies, they're cheap right now. I'm not gonna get them for a better price. I bought them, and then it's like I slowly started to ride the wave up. I'm not an expert in the stock market whatsoever, but I learn as I go. Some maybe veteran investors like, oh no, you should know everything before. No, in life, no one hands you the playbook of how things work. You learn as you go, and you learn as you grow. Right now, I'm looking into potential real estate. I'm gonna make mistakes, and as a human being, as an investor, I'm like, I accept those, and I'm anticipating those. And the biggest thing, I'm waiting to learn from them, because I'd rather make those mistakes when I'm doing, the baby stuff now, rather than long term in the future when
it's bigger and it matters more.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars, and I'm just like, now I'm making those mistakes. No, that's costing me.
Obviously, I know we can talk forever, but I do want to keep the video relatively brief. Now would be a good time probably for the reveal. Think in your head, what's the final mental image of this individual that you think of? How do you perceive them? And the same questions I asked at the beginning of like age, race, gender, all that. Once I do the reveal, I'm going to have the individual answer all those. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can unhide you.
Perfect. All right, what's up, everyone?
This is my friend Simone. We actually met in college. Simone, if you wouldn't mind answering for the people, the age, what's your age?
So I'm currently 22.
Race, gender?
I am Ghanaian. I am African-American male.
What about sexual orientation, relationship status, and do you have any kids?
Heterosexual male. Do not have any kids. When it comes to relationship status, I am currently in a relationship. My beautiful girlfriend is Stephanie.
What about your religion, if you have one? Your political affiliation, and your educational background?
I am Christian. So I don't swing directly to one side, either Democrat or Republican. I'm more of, let me see who is the representative that I'm going to be voting for. I align with, do I agree with your policies, regardless of what your party is? Because at the end of the day, it's you representing me. I have my Bachelor's of Science degree in City and Regional Planning.
What is your current employment? We obviously know you DoorDash. Are you a homeowner? And do you have any body modifications, as in any sort of piercings? I'm assuming no plastic surgery, and any sort of tattoos.
I am a worker at Amazon. I do not have any body modifications. No piercings, no tattoos. I am currently not a homeowner.
Not yet.
So I live with my parents in their apartment. Big plug and shout out to any of your viewers. If they know anything about any maybe properties in the Columbus area, definitely hit me up about it, because that's the Columbus market is where I will be looking into purchasing my first real estate investment. So yeah.
So the last thing is, what's one thing that you want to either say to the viewers or a takeaway that you hope that people take from this? Also, I'll say where people can find you if they want to reach out or if they want to keep up to date on the many things that you're doing.
The one biggest takeaway that I would like to share with your viewers is like, I know it's very basic and simple, but not to judge a book by its cover. It's funny because this is the segment that you're introducing into your YouTube portfolio. One day I was DoorDashing and I was listening to a podcast called Bigger Pockets Podcast. I've been listening to this for maybe like a good 2 weeks. It's funny because I always heard the voices of the individuals on the podcast, but I never really like looked up to see what they look like. I was like, let me figure out what these people look like. When I saw them, I was like, oh wow, like I did not associate this voice with this person. And they would always bring a whole bunch of different guests onto their shows. And I kind of did more like diving. I was like, I didn't think this guest would look like this or sound like that. I knew what they sound like, but I didn't know they look like that. And the reason why I think it's important because, especially in the time that we're in the climate of the world, everyone's wearing face masks and everything. And as I'm DoorDashing, I'm thinking, I was like, wow, like the mask covers about this portion of this person's face. You look at them and you only see from maybe nose level, eyes on the level. And then your mind starts to generate, well, I wonder what the other half of their face looks like.
You start filling in the blanks.
Yeah, exactly. And so sometimes like when you see, they might move their mask, you're like, oh, I didn't think your face would look like that or anything like that. It made me think of like too often in this world, we're very quick to judge a book by its cover. It goes back to times like my mom, sometimes when I'm either going for an interview for a job, a new position, and my mom's so keen on presentation. And I don't knock her at all for it because it's very true. When someone sees you, the first thing is that they look at you and they're like, their brain starts going. So you might see someone coming to you for a job interview and, they have tattoos or body modifications and things like that. And your mind automatically is like X, Y, and Z or something. You're like, oh, this and that. But you never really get the chance to hear the person out, get to know them. Voices are very powerful in this world. You can sit in the dark and listen to someone's voice and they can move you in different ways. And you have no idea what this individual looks like, but the voice is what brings you power. That's the advice I would definitely recommend. Don't judge a book by its cover. Give people a life chance. You never know what you might learn from someone. I am always seeking knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. I see where people are at in life, and I'm like, you know what? Let me sit down and have a conversation with this person. I want to be where they are in the future. I want to have something that they have and have of my own. I never let the image and looks of the person get to me like, oh, I'm not going to talk to that person. I'm not. No, hey, this person has acquired something. They are at this level, this status in life. I'm like, okay, I want to follow suit. Let me have a conversation with them. And the conversation, it's all this. Your ears. They do 100% of the work. It's your ears, and then your brain does all that stuff processing. But it starts here. It's being able to listen.
I'm very glad that you were the first person to be on this because this was your idea. I really like it, and I'm glad that we can do this before making some future videos together.
As long as your viewers will have me, I'm down.
Let me know in the comments, did Simone look like you expected him to? What were your thoughts on everything? I'll be sure to link his Twitter and his Instagram down below in the description, so be sure to check him out. Give him a follow if you want to see all the fun stuff he's up to in the future. If you guys enjoyed him, I'd be happy to have him back, maybe like an update video, see what he's doing with real estate, all that good stuff. I am sure he'll be on videos in the future as the channel grows and we do some more stuff, so be sure to subscribe and stay tuned for that. That is all I got for you for this video. Be sure to check him out, and I will see you guys in the next one.